Hello everyone, this is Eric from Educute, coming to you from Siargao in the Philippines. Not a live stream because the Wi-Fi isn't good enough to do a live stream, so I thought I'd videotape it and then just post it on Sunday like usual. Now, right now I'm in the Philippines, I'm on vacation, I've been here for almost a week and just enjoying it a lot. But I still thought I'm going to make a video that can help you. So I'm going to focus on something that I saw on Facebook. You know, you get some of these Facebook groups for teachers where they post memes or funny pictures or just something relatable. Well, I saw one that was, I thought is really interesting because right now, besides just surfing and enjoying my vacation, I'm also working on new content. Actually, I'm working through a book. Let me show you the book. It's called Managing Behavior in the Classroom. I read this about 12 years ago. I thought it was a fantastic book because it actually explains why teachers have to do things a certain way. And it also gives scenarios for you to look at why teachers do something one way and what is the wrong way to do it. Now, what I'm planning to do with my content is to actually get some students to work with and act out how to deal with different situations in the classroom. Right now, I've worked it out to be almost 100 videos. 100 videos just about classroom management, working on the different scenarios, dialogues, and what you should and shouldn't do when you get into that situation. Yeah, I think it's going to be fantastic because it's going to be different than just me standing on the screen, standing with a black screen talking to you. I'm actually going to get some other students to help me too. Okay, now with that out of the way, this piece of content that I saw on Facebook, I saw it on Help a Teacher. It's a very cool group to join. They always post interesting or funny content. And the title for it was The 5 Non-Negotiables for Success with the Toughest Kids. Now, this is really quite meaningful because I think one of the biggest problems that teachers have is with these students that, you know, they're really difficult to deal with. You know, everybody's got that one student from a class or that one terror in the grade, and everybody fears working with them. So I think this is very important for us to understand when dealing with these really difficult students. You know, it doesn't matter where they're from, what their situation is, why they're acting out. They are acting out, and how should we as teachers deal with them? Okay, so it's from Brian Mendler, and he gives 5 rules for you to use when you're working with really difficult kids. And what's interesting is that a lot of these things, I've been thinking about these 5 rules while I've been working through the content in this book. Actually, some of you that love books are going to be really angry at me. I was drinking coffee and I was sitting up and I spilled coffee all over my book. So a lot of the work I've been doing, I think I'll be able to salvage it. But I really need to do it on a computer when I get home, so I've just been writing everything out by pencil. Okay, anyway, so these 5 tips go with this book a lot, so let's get into it. The first one, number 1, never take it personally. Never take it personally. I think one of the biggest things as teachers is that if we encounter a difficult student, they try your patience, right? They actually say things to get a rise out of you because that's the only way that they get attention. So they might say something or do something to actually get an emotional reaction from you. And because you are the adult in the room and you are the leader, you're the teacher, the last thing you should do is have an emotional reaction to something. So don't take it personally. You know, you think, oh, they're attacking me, they're singling me out. That's not the case. What you do want to do is you want to, if you're in a situation where a student tests you, you want to stay calm and unresponsive and focus on the behavior or focus on the rules and don't take it personally. I think that's a very good tip. Okay, number 2. Second to last word is best. Second to last word is best. Okay, what does this mean? It means that you don't want to be the last one speaking. So if you have a problem with a student, and they're talking and they're saying something to you, you're having an argument, you don't want to end it be like, this is my final word. You want them to either apologize or to accept that their behavior was wrong. So they should be the last one to say. So you can say, Johnny, what did you do? So nothing, sir. I'm like, well, that's not what I see over there. Can you tell me what I did? Sorry, sir, this is what happened. Good. That means that you're in a place of strength. If you always have to have the last say, it just shows that you come from a place of weakness. So try not to be the last one to respond. I mean, this isn't a fixed rule, but just think about it this way. If you're going to talk to a student, you want them to finish on a place. If you have an argument, you want to rebuild the relationship, and you want them to finish by saying, acknowledging that they were wrong, or they want to apologize for their action. Okay. Number 3, private is better than public. This is fantastic advice. This is really good. See, a lot of students, they act out in class because they want their attention. They act out, they want you to react to them. So the best thing you can do in many situations is to isolate the student. For example, if a student does something wrong in class, you can say, okay, Timmy, I want to speak to you after class. And then like, oh, sir, it's way better than seeing them privately where they don't have an audience and you have a position of power, than trying to settle debates or arguing in front of other students, because then they feel, oh, I'm being watched, and that gives them more power and it makes you less powerful. So if possible, if you have a problem with a student, do it privately. Take them aside and talk to them, or get them to see you later. Okay, that's really important. Okay, number 4, negotiation is good. Okay, now, what does that mean? Negotiation. We should have strict rules, and we should have certain boundaries. That is perfect. I think as adults, as teachers, we have to enforce those boundaries. But if we can actually negotiate with students, it actually makes them feel like part of the learning process. Sorry. Oh, I feel like today I'm just messing everything up. Okay, anyway. So, you want this to negotiate with the students. For example, a student can hand in their work. You say, okay, well, Lisa, you need to hand this in. I expect it very soon. I expect it within the next week. And she can be, if she has a legitimate excuse and she says, oh, teacher, I'm really busy, but is it okay if I give it to you maybe next Wednesday? And then you say, well, yes. And that means that you reached an agreement. They don't feel like your authority figure just telling them what to do. They feel they're part of the process. And if you can instill that with students, that's fantastic. But a little caveat. A lot of teachers actually go and they think, oh, I'm negotiating. Negotiation comes from a place of strength. If you give in to student demands, that is not negotiating. That is capitulating. Beautiful word. Right. So the act of negotiation, really good. Remember, you want to include the students in the process of learning, and also that gives them a part of the responsibility. It makes them part of the decision-making process instead of just your underlings. Okay, but they are really. Okay, number 5, the last one. I know I've been running through it. It's because I feel kind of awkward sitting here in public and my coffee was spilled. My poor book. So sorry. This book is going to be amazing, guys. Next week I'm back in Korea. I miss the comforts of home. I miss a warm shower. But I feel like I came here for a reason, to surf and also to clear my head of things, Sometimes we need times like that, and it's also it's interesting for me. I've never stayed in a hostel before. I've always just had my own place, but this is the first time I've stayed in a hostel, and it's fine. I'm not as social as I usually am, but I've just been sleeping, going out, surfing, eating, and the lack of Wi-Fi might actually be a good thing for me. Okay. That being said, next week I'll be back with the live stream, and I've got a bunch of videos I have to make, and then 2 weeks later next 2 weeks later I've got a winter camp that I have to do. So after that I've got a month in which I can shoot this new series, and I think it's really going to be important. It's something I haven't seen on YouTube, and I think it's something new teachers or teachers desperately need. And because there's nobody else making it, I'll try. As you know, I've got a lot of work to do and to learn, but I think I hope I do it right by you guys. Okay, now number 5. Walking away is a strength. Okay, now let me say it again. Walking away is a strength. Now, most of us grow up and we have this idea that the teacher is the ultimate authority. They can make anything happen. They can make any student do anything at any time. But there are times when you have to walk away, where you have to ignore what was said and then take it and then attend to it at another time. Let me give you an example. Let's say it's after school and there's something going on. 2 boys are fighting, and you get there, and one of the boys actually swears at you or says something, and then you say something back to them, and suddenly they want to, argue with you about it. So what you have to do is take their names, think about, and walk away. Why? You don't want to lose your face. You don't want to lose your power in front of those students. At that time, it doesn't make sense to argue with them and try and get them to do what you want them to do. It's just not going to happen. You have to look at the situation and see, well, this kid is in public, he's with his friends, there's no way I'm going to get him to do what I want. I'll just take his name, ignore him, walk away. Then face the battle where you are stronger. So then you can the next day or after the weekend, you can call them in and actually have a one-on-one discussion with them. It's like that scene from Star Wars where Obi-Wan Kenobi says, don't do it, I have the high ground, right? Like Sun Tzu, you want to fight a battle, you don't want to fight a battle at a disadvantage. Make sure that when you're in that environment, that you come from a place of strength and that you can win. Another situation, let's say you're in public or in front of the school gates, and a student comes in with their uniform, doesn't look up to scratch, and you start arguing with them, but there are parents around, there are other students, and instead of getting into a shouting match with the student and arguing, just say, I would like to speak to you later. Which class are you in? Okay, come and see me later. That way you save face and you don't lose that advantage, and you can still have that in your classroom later. Okay, what did I write here? Engage on your own territory, don't fight where you might lose power. Right. Okay, everyone, a little bit of a crazy live stream. I would have liked to actually talk with you and share it, but unfortunately I can't. I'm just gonna take this video, and today is Saturday, so tomorrow I'll just load it up and you can see. Okay, everyone, what are your thoughts? Are you excited to see me back again next week? How is your first week of 2020 been? I think that's the question. How is your first week of 2020 been? I look forward to seeing you next week and to catch up with all of you. This is Eric from Educute in the Philippines, wishing you a good week, and I'll see you next time.